Hello everyone. Welcome to the movie recap. In the town of New Beginnings, lives Max, a guy infected with the most odd disease in the world. In simple words, if anyone sees his face, they die. The movie begins with Max sitting with his new therapist, Dr. Klingeman, who is bewildered at his new findings. The therapist happens not to trust Max's illness, and the next thing we know, Dr. Klingeman is lying dead on the floor. Max's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Richardson, come to pick him up and apologize to the police officers before driving home. Later that night at dinner, Max's best friend Dan joins the family, who seems too much indulged in dating sites. Max's parents advise Max to be more social and try some dating sites, but he ignores the idea. In his room, Max asks Dan to hit him with a brick, but Dan denies the idea. However, Max starts to annoy Dan more and throws his phone, which leads to Dan hitting Max with a brick in reflex. Max goes to a hospital where a child gets scared of his taped face, and Mrs. Richardson advises Max to get a magazine to cover his face. Amidst this, he spots Alex, a girl fond of collecting Pokemon cards and has 150 of them, a very surprising thing for Max. Upon returning home, Dan tells Max that he has set up a date for Max. On the date, he gives the girl named Erica an embroidered handkerchief that he made himself. However, a bully in the town named Craig spoils their date. He starts bullying Max, and the date turns out to be the worst possible moment of his life. A few days later, Max finds himself standing on the other side of the bridge ready to fall and suicide, but Alex appears. She shares some jelly beans with him and then advises him to find a bridge that is a bit higher than this one since it won't kill him. She then quotes Titanic's "You jump, I jump," and it impresses Max. The duo then goes to a retirement home where they meet Alex's friends Esther and Rosemary. Esther is suffering from Alzheimer's while Rosemary has a pancreatic disease. Turns out that Esther is a writer and is writing about her journey with Alzheimer's. After the visit to the retirement home, Alex walks Max back home and he asks her out. However, Alex denies it. That night, Max engraves "You jump, I jump" on a piece of cloth with embroidery. The following day, Max waits for Alex at the bus station. They met near the day before and she appears. Alex decides to skip school and the two spend the day together. They first go to a grocery store to buy jelly beans and then fill a bathtub with jelly to sit in. While sitting, Max tells Alex that he has a face that is lethally attractive and anyone who sees it might die, which is why he is supposed to cover his face. On the other hand, Alex tells him that she has a rare cardiovascular disease and her heart is allergic to endorphins. Due to this, every time she feels a feeling of excitement, her heart gets inflated. Luckily, she has started her medicine, and it is helping. However, she has to wear a heart monitor all the time. After their heart-to-heart conversation, go to watch a movie and try vodka. Max becomes highly drunk, and Alex has to drop him off at his place. There, upon noticing Max's little pieces of embroidery, she asks him to make one for her as well. The duo starts to get close, and it is for the first time that Alex sees Max's eyes. Soon, his parents walk in with an exchange program girl who they are going to host for the next few months, Yu Shen. His parents warmly welcome Alex and have a funny talk with her. The next day, they again visit the retirement home and have a meetup with the ladies. At the dinner that day, Mrs. Richardson asks Max to take Yu Shen along on his camping with Alex, Dan, and Dan's girlfriend. On camping, Alex's hand gets cut and Max bandages it with some of his face tape, which turns on a red light on Alex's heart monitor, an indication of the release of endorphins. Later that night, the duo shares its first kiss, and Max blindfolds Alex before making her trace his face to perform a sense of closure. A few days later, as Yu Shen, Dan, and Max are hanging out, Alex calls Max that she won't be able to join them since her mother is doing some cleaning at home. However, Alex is stuck in a hospital because of her worsening condition. Max and Dan take out the Christmas tree, which gets caught in fire due to Yu Shen's cigarette butt, and the duo has to go to the hospital since Dan burns his hand. There they meet Alex and her mom. Alex lies to her mom that they work with her at the retirement home and leaves. The following day, as the duo meets, Alex tells Max that she has to lie to her mom because she is scared that Alex will start to make friends and ultimately feel things. They then go to the retirement home where it seems like Rosemary is on a ventilator hanging between life and death. Alex gets a nosebleed but efficiently hides it from everyone. She then convinces Max to show his face to Rosemary and put an end to her suffering. Hence, Rosemary peacefully dies as she sees Max's lethally attractive face. The next day, as Alex stops replying to Max's texts, he gets into a small argument with his parents. He goes to a cafe with Dan, where Dan asks a girl out for a dance. Dan then takes Max's phone and asks Alex to join them as well. Still no response from her, so Max decides to visit her home. There he notices the beeping red light on Alex's heart monitor, and Alex informs him that the doctors want to increase her dosage. She adds that her heart has inflated a little and Max starts to get emotional. She then accepts the dance proposal, and the duo goes out with Dan and his brand new girlfriend for the dance. Everything goes downhill as amidst the party. Alex gets sick and leaves for the bathroom while Keg appears. He forcefully takes off Max's mask, and this causes the death of Dan's recent girlfriend. Moreover, Alex gets taken to the hospital while the police arrest Max. They take his criminal pictures and then release him later on. He directly goes to the hospital where Alex is admitted. Alex's mom hugs him, and then he meets Alex. He realizes that Alex has been lying all along and has not been taking his medicine. She asks Alex to show her his face and put an end to her suffering, since her life expectancy was 16 years old, and she has surpassed that. This request enrages Max, and he denies doing anything of that sort, and then storms out of the room. He goes back home angered and tries to hit his head with a brick, however, his parents stop him. For the next few days, Max avoids Alex's calls, and one day finally goes to school where Dan is standing in front of his dead girlfriend's picture. Dan asks Max to talk with Alex, and she's sick, and he might lose the chance of even a goodbye. Max goes to the hospital and decorates Alex's wall with his embroidered pieces. He gives her one as well, and Alex regains consciousness. They lie in the bed together, and seeing Alex in immense pain, he decides to show her his face. As he takes off his tapes, the duo shares a kiss. Alex stares at Max, and turns out that she cannot be killed by his looks. She later dies of her heart condition. Max goes to her funeral and takes a bag of jelly beans, and in her loving memory throws it in the river. His case also gets solved, and the judge declares that Dan's girlfriend died because of a serotonin overdose. The movie ends with Max being able to show his face to Dan, and him visiting the retirement home to meet Esther now and then, to whom he tells that Alex is busy with some work.